I would also request the participants to please follow a brief Zoom etiquette and please mute their respected audios while Dr. Rohilla is presenting the information regarding the Ramalinga Fellowship, and also enlightening us with the useful tips which can help us shape the application and increase the rates of acceptance of, of our postdoc candidates who want to move back to India.
Thank you, Dr. Vaisali and Dr. Panchal. You have nicely presented the outline of the program, how we have started this program. Can you insert the slides?
Yeah. So do you want me to share the screen, Dr. Rohilla?
Yes, yes.
Okay, sure. I'll do that. Can you see your screen, like the presentation?
Yes.
Okay.
You have nicely presented the outline of the program. I will save the time as well as the temperament of our fellow, and I will move the slide. Please, next slide. Well-known program of Government of India, re-entry program of fellows. So objective, eligibility, nature of support already mentioned, very nicely presented by Dr. Panchal. And workplace, the fellow can be select any place, even private institutions, government institution, but restrict to the academic institution for the activation of the fellowship or submission of the proposal for Ramalingaswami Re-entry Fellowship program. Right now, we are not accepting the industrial proposals. Means fellow cannot join the industry. But if industry has such environment, R&D, full-fledged R&D, they have scientists, if they are accredited by the NABL or other Government of India bodies, UGC, or awarding the PhD, postdoc, and in business of academic side, then they can apply for this kind of fellowship. Right now, we don't have any such restrictions. Next slide. This is the program statistics since 2015. We have received 1,647 applications. I'm just showing here that how much fellows are selected by the department and how many fellows joined in last 7-8 years. So we have received 1,647 applications, and expert committees is a very high power committee in terms of scientific evaluation of these proposals. So I'm just requesting to all the fellow, please prepare the good proposal, quality proposal, not very enthusiastic in selection of the objectives, restrict to the particular scientific investigation, want to propose to for this Ramalingaswami Re-entry Fellowship program. And we have selected 476 fellows, and 385 fellows joined the program, out of which 308 males, the male candidate, and female are 77, and out of which 207 fellows secured the job as a regular job in different academic institutions, ISR, IITs, Indian state in the central universities. Next, please. How to avail this prestigious fellowship? Dr. Panchal has already mentioned that fellow can visit the website DBT India or rcb.res.in and apply online. Okay, and submit all the requisite information as required in the format available on website of RCB Faridabad. Next. The last date of this submission is the 15th February. Keep in mind when applying, because we will not extend the date. Date is very restrict for the 15th February. So please be prepared and accordingly apply on time before 1 or 2 days, because we have to avoid the last minute rush. Okay. And the documentations required for the submission of application, like date of birth, doctoral degree certificate, details of research contribution, patent, publications, and highlight the 5 best research publications first. I think the best in terms of impact, in terms of quality, peer-reviewed journals. Research proposal, detailing research proposal you want to investigate during the Ramalingaswami Re-entry Fellowship program. And host institution certificate is very important, because they will facilitate not only the scientific investigation by providing infrastructure facility as well as the administrative support for the running this fellowship program, and 2 letters of recommendation from any Indian scientist or the you may check the website first, recommendations from the guide, mentors, and accordingly apply. The relevant format for the application is available on the website, and detailed research proposal format is also enclosed with the e-module available on the website. Next. Selection of host institutions. This is very important because we experience that many fellow in rush just proposing the name of host institutions based on the just taking the profile or outcome of the institutions, and after 1 year or 2 years they are approaching to DBT for transfer or change of host institution. So be careful in selection of host institution. When you are applying for the Ramalingaswami Re-entry Fellowship, you may please talk to your colleague, you may please talk to your Indian fellows, senior, juniors, and just check the ecosystem available for research and development activities in the host institutions you want to propose in the application. Next, please. Undertaking from the applicant statement. This is very important. Right now, one minor changes we have done in the system. After the selection, if the candidate is on a permanent or regular position, no salary we will provide, and HRA. Even if candidate join the regular job in India before the start of RRF program or award of fellowship, we will this kind of fellow will be not eligible for financial support, either research fellowship or research grant. To keep in mind, because the whole purpose of this scheme is to just facilitate the re-entry in the system, Indian science system, so that they can pursue cutting edge research and do the science. Next. Next. What are the requirements after selection by Department of Biotechnology? First of all, we will send the offer letter to the candidate, and candidate should first accept the letter or award from the government and submit the joining letter from the host institute and accept the terms and conditions. This is very important. Carefully read all the terms and conditions, okay, before signing all this document, and just send to the DBT or our project management unit we have established at RCB Faridabad. They are the facilitator for this fellowship or the activities, and in next 3 years we are providing around 83 lakhs rupees for scientific investigation as well as for the personal support in form of fellowship. The salary is not the correct word. We are mentioning here salary. Fellowship. This is the fellowship because we are just facilitating the re-entry, not providing the jobs, but we are enhancing the job opportunities for such fellow, those who are interested to move from abroad to India and do the science. If we will add the 2 more year on extension, so as per the extension and the total cost of the program, more than 1 crore rupees we are investing for one fellow. Okay. Next. Seeking consent from the department. What are the changes we are accepting after activation of fellowship or 1 year? The one-time change we are accepting. Suppose fellow after joining got the job, move to another institution, we are accepting. One-time change for the temporary fellow. Suppose he or she want to move to IIT or ISER or some other central university, the place better than the previous one, we are accepting. But no 2 changes we are allowing. Only 1 change we are allowing for the fellow in regular job. Okay. And 2 changes in case of the temporary fellow. If suppose first change to the new institute for the running this program as a temporary fellow. Then after getting the job, we are also allowing to join the regular position, and in the research grant, we will stop the fellowship, HRF, and fellow can recruit the JRF for the for support of research activities in the, and we are accepting the resignation from the fellow from this program, and core closing in very exceptional cases on humanitarian ground or some maybe health issues we are accepting. Okay, next please. Last one. Release of next tranche will be processed. The first year is after activation. We have to release subsequent grant for continuity of the activities, R&D activities by fellow. We are taking care of fellow. But my humble submission to all the fellows that before finishing 1 year, be prepared in last quarter of the every financial year and be ready for the such documentation, financial document. I think administration of the host institution will provide all the requisite support to the fellow, and they will submit all document required for subsequent release on time. This is very important. Thank you. Next. This is an important note here. Securing a permanent regular position in India, the program encouraged to secure a permanent or regular position. I already mentioned in my earlier slide that we are encouraging, we are providing the opportunity, but we are not providing the jobs. Through this Ramalingaswami Re-entry Fellowship program, the fellow can apply for extramural R&D grant from different funding agencies like DST, DBT, R&D grant, DSIR grant, Department of Atomic Energy. There are so many scientific agencies here. The science agency, they are providing the support to fellows as a regular faculty member in host institutions. So this opportunity is good for the fellows. They can apply for the R&D grant and they can apply for the awards also. But we are not encouraging the acceptance of second or third fellowship by fellow if they are working under RRF system. Next. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Rohilla. So I'm sure that our audience have received important insight into the fellowship itself. So as in different aspect of the fellowship, in a sense that what are the qualification criteria, what are the conditions associated with it, and what is the main focus of the fellowship itself. That is not to provide any job, but to assist them in securing a position while they are in the country. So now we will open this platform for the panel discussion as well as question answer. And so this is going to be, so we have 3 themes here: recruitment process, challenges after joining, and other special inquiries. However, I would request everyone to avoid case-specific questions and limit them to fellowship only. Yes, so before we can receive a question from audience, I myself have a couple of questions. If I can ask Dr. Rohilla and Dr. Mishra.
Ji, please.
Yes. Yeah. So I saw that in the required documents, there was 2 of these requirement involved a preprint of the recent publication or key publication, and there was another document that was that is research contribution. So for our audience, can you differentiate between these 2? So because it might be possible that some candidates confuse research contribution with the number of publications. So does it include only number of publications or different publications that they have, or is something else more into it?
Manoj, can you tell?
Can you repeat the question?
So how would you distinguish research contribution from publications? So
Research
because because some of candidates might confuse research contribution and with the publications, so they might just list all publications they have in research contributions.
The maximum weightage we are considering for the publication is a first authorship papers, okay, and first authorship paper and contribution in the publication. How fellow has contributed in the publication.
I see. So okay. Yeah.
So I can Vipul, just add one more line.
Yeah.
So what Manoj is
Yes.
saying is perfectly all right, that both are very close word. Okay. So
Yeah.
the research contribution also includes the publication, but sometimes you may have presented a conference paper, like, I work in orthopedics, so some areas in like American Orthopedic Association, Heart Association, conference presentation are equally valid, may not be journal paper. Number two, sometimes you may have a patent, IP, which may not be publication. Sometimes
I
you have
see.
a book chapter or something other than publication which contribute to the research area, that's also. Some
Okay.
monograph, books, lectures, so you can have, which shows your scholarship.
Okay. So basically, you can narrate your contribution.
Correct, yeah, much larger
Yeah.
perspective.
Yes. So we have one question from Hari Krishnan. So the question is, are the letter of recommendations only acceptable from Indian scientists, or can scientists or PIs from abroad can also provide the recommendation letter? Yes.
This is under which application, Manoj? Recommendation is from the host institution or from the...
Yeah. So the question is, do they need to have scientists from India only? As in, some candidates might have done their PhD from India. So do they necessarily need to have recommendation from Indian scientists, or if they want
No,
to
I think,
include only from
Manoj, I
abroad?
think you can, yeah,
Hmm.
I think recommendation can be from anywhere where you have
Okay.
worked, but I think Manoj can be more. If somebody has done a postdoctoral, let's say in Sweden, the recommendation will always come from the Sweden. But of course,
Sweden.
you can also have one from India if you have done PhD in India.
Good,
Manoj,
good, then good. At least one recommendation from Indian institutions, and one from
Okay.
maybe outside the country, currently working with the
Okay.
mentor for the postdoctoral fellowship.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Because the
So-
current recommendation in general is more valuable
More
where you are
important.
working in the last. That is more valuable. Yeah.
Okay. And we have question from Shivani. That is, should we contact the head of the department of the institute or some other authority for this inquiry to host themselves?
Okay. I think I would like to come in here. Now, the reason is I was listening to the conversation. I myself has been a Ramalingaswami recipient in 2010.
Yes.
When I was working in Australia. I came back in India through this process. So I have done this process, almost 14 years back. So first thing, not demoralize you. I mean, because even for me, I have to struggle to get the proper recommendations and the host institution forwarding thing. And one should not be disillusioned that you may try 4 places, maybe 3 don't bother, or at least they may reply, we don't have time or space. So those things are there. But in general, I think this is very important what Manoj has pointed out. If somebody asks me what is the key parameter which you should be doing homework in your application, the most important factor is the selection of host institution, which Manoj has given in the slide. You also given the slide. And when I say the selection of host institution, suppose I choose one of the IIT, let's say. Now, head of department has a limited role because the department of, let's say, for example, chemistry may have some 20 professors. Okay. What is more important is the research lab or the group where you wish to work. That is very important. So it is not only the head of department who may not be academically connected with you, but the real work will be done under which lab or who's your kind of a, like local support. The person may be head, maybe professor, or may be dean, may not be dean. So it doesn't matter. That's the first. So I will answer in 2 parts. That first, you need to find out your science partner, where you will work. Second, he or she will facilitate with the head of the department or registrar of a university or dean or vice chancellor. That is more of administrative nature. So both are required because paperwork has to come from both ends. But more important is your selection of the host institution. And one more point is that another point which you find that sometimes somebody says ISC Bangalore or maybe some ISER or IITs, where the research facility is extremely good. You can perhaps, in some cases, you can start work from day 1 or maybe first month you can be productive. That's one choice. Okay. But you have to also think that whether you will be one of them in after 3 years, what will happen? Are they going to appoint you or they are going to facilitate you. As Manoj has given, the Department of Biotechnology is not into that position to help you for job. The second
Yes.
choice could be, again, I'm not saying what is right, wrong, that is your call. Second choice could be to select a new IIT. Okay. So, for example, I'm Mandi, Punjab, Bhubaneswar, there are some 22 IITs in India. I'm just giving example. Newer one have a huge vacancies. Their chances
Yes.
of getting a regular appointment may be higher. Okay.
Yes.
Versus a older IIT or established institution. Now, this
Yeah.
is something which you have to decide. Neither myself can tell nor Manoj can guide you. What is your
Yes.
liking in your life? What do you think? And this
Yes.
discussion should be done very freely and frankly. And I would like to add, as a department officer, that 10 years back, not many people were knowing Ramalingaswami, but now
Mhm.
Ramalingaswami Fellowship is well brand. I know that
Definitely.
couple of vice chancellors, new central universities which are open, they say, okay, you are Ramalingaswamy, it's very easy for them to get a regular powers. So you
Yes.
also have a merit and brand to bargain them to say, ki, bhai, if I'm applying through, let's say, new IIT or new ISER, what are chances of getting me confirmed in 2 year, 3 year time? So, I mean, this is your job to negotiate, talk, discuss, and then decide. So thank you. I think
So
probably this
yeah.
is
So what you are
useful.
suggesting is candidates should when they are discussing with the institution, they should always think of long-term perspective as in terms of securing a job. So basically
Correct.
leverage this fellowship to secure the job. Yes.
Correct.
Yeah. So maybe I can ask one related question to this. So is there so there are also some cases where RLS fellows are as in not considered, although they are considered should be considered as one of the scientists. They are treated as a postdoc. I think there are few cases. I think so.
Right.
Would you like to elaborate on that, as in how that can be prevented?
I think it's the applicant's choice, and also, as Manoj pointed out, selection of the host institution. And what I can
Yeah.
tell you is that because it's almost 10 years, 14 years, there are people who are ex-Ramalingaswamy fellow. The directory is on the website. You must talk to not to the head and professor alone. You must talk to Ramalingaswamy, who has graduated 2 years back, 3 years back, or current Ramalingaswamy fellows who are already there. That is one. Then talk to the professor also. Talk to your friends and network. So you should get the information from 2-3 channels about the department, about the lab, about the institution. How they have treated in Department of Physics may not be in Life Sciences Biotech, but there may be Ramalingaswamy fellow, Ramanujam fellow, or similar kind of fellowships of DST. What they have done in the other department. Okay, so you have to find out.
Yeah.
I mean, what is the real thing going on? And I would just like to give a word of caution that yes, there are some institutions, maybe in private institution, they may be also doing the very quick paperwork, because the private system is very quick because you are
Yes.
bringing your own money. Okay.
Yes.
But again, you have to think for the long-term consequences. So there are good
Yes.
private institutions also, like in government, they are extremely good, but some of them are not so good also. So that's your
I
choice.
see.
You have to find out.
Yes. So
Manoj, would you
we
like to
have
add anything?
yeah.
Manoj,
Manojji?
would you like to add anything more?
Who?
Okay. So we have
Okay.
a question from Susmita Ghosh, and she's asking if recommendation letter from the current employer is mandatory.
Current employer or the mentor or institute where the fellow is
Yeah,
working?
the current mentor, basically. Yeah. So like if they are doing postdoc or from, let's say, institute, they might be in some lab. So do they necessarily need to have recommendation from their PI, current PI?
Dr. Saab, I think neither Manoj and I will remember the actual lines of each line. If you read the
Yeah.
application form, if it is mentioned, to best of
Yeah.
my knowledge, it is not mentioned. So do not
Yeah, that's all.
put hypothetical. If it's not mentioned, then it's not there. No?
Yeah.
I mean, if something,
Yeah.
for
So
example,
basically
date
it
of
should
birth,
be,
passport is mentioned. So
yeah, so it should be anyone who can basically vouch for
Exactly.
your scientific credentials and your competence for the project deliverables. I believe.
But I believe it's strongly recommended, I will say, even if it's not mentioned. I mean, because if you are in a committee and the person gets a recommendation from the place where you're working from last 5 years, 4 years, it gives a credibility that, okay, that person is, otherwise, there is always a question mark. But of course, I mean, I think
Yes,
it's
sir.
not mandatory, but recommended.
Yeah. And there is one question, Shivani, are first author bioarchive preprints acceptable? So let's say, so when they say, when the application condition mentions that preprint of the most important publications, can they also include this bioarchive manuscripts, which are not peer reviewed basically?
Uh,
Because nowadays people
I
like, I
share-
mean, the peer review takes time, and people basically upload their manuscript on the bioarchive while things are under process. So is it okay?
I mean, I will say yes, it's okay, but I think
see.
during the screening and during the interviews, because it's a very competitive fellowship, So I mean, because it says one side, we are giving almost 50% higher fellowship compared to any postdoctoral fellowship in India. So the expectation is at least the person will have a good track record of the chosen field of the research, and so I think having no publication, from postdoctoral 3 years, only bioarchives, unless there is a strong reason, because somebody may be doing intellectual property with patenting and IP reasons. So I think case by case में देख सकते हैं. I mean, this is
Yes,
one can
you are
do,
right.
but I think
Yes. Yeah. So there is one question from Anil Pal. Does the host department matter? I think definitely yes.
yes.
Yeah. I'm answering. So I have one question related to choosing host institution or university. So my understanding is that depending on the institute and nature of the universities, for example, the state university, central university versus private university, the efficiency of administrative department can be different. So does this affect selecting the candidates? Number one, and number two, have you witnessed this affecting the project deliverables for RLS fellows?
What is okay? I will answer first. The second is, what is the question? Does it deliver the RNS fellow? What is?
Yeah, so when they are proposing a project, right? So there are deliverables inside. That I will deliver the objective. I'll find this thing out. So does it also impact deliverables?
Okay.
Or objectives of the project?
Okay, I think it is well known that, like your research efficiency, if I can use the word, is dependent upon the host institution. At least, like even that is true in abroad also. Like if you are working in a research intensive institution versus a, like a community college in US, let's say, for example. So, your research efficiency will of course vary. In Indian situation, there is a drastic difference between universities. Some of them maybe are very highly respected in research facilities. Some of them are not. So your output, your objectives, and also the facilities will be very, very different. And the committee, while looking the applications, because we have been part of that process, so they considered, just to emphasize that, suppose there is a project proposal where the proposal has a lot of the animal facilities and cell culture and a very extensive bio demanding labs. And if the proposed place of the university doesn't have a track record of working in that area, doesn't have even like animal house and those kind of things, then the committee will certainly ask that why you are choosing this place where there are no facilities. Or somebody is working in clinical work and not related to a clinical site. So project should be feasible. That is more important. So your host institution not only should satisfy your own personal choices. For example, you would like to be in Bangalore only, for example, or you would like to be in Delhi only. But also you have to, your host institution should be compatible to your project proposal. They
Yes.
should be in sync in terms
Yes,
of
sure.
facilities, in terms of the other researchers, that you can't be a sole, the single person starting a new area of your proposal. That is, I will not recommend you to do. I mean, of course, we
Yeah.
can't say no, but I mean, the chances are very, very bleak that you are the only researcher and you start that,
Basically, those candidates might also have reduced chance of getting grant, right? Because reviewers would also be looking at how effective this person would be in this particular
Correct.
setup. Yeah.
Correct.
So we have question from Suresh. Some of the host institutions mention space and budget limitations. Could you justify regarding this? So I think, yeah, I mean, you can elaborate on this, I think.
So sorry,
Would you
I
like to?
couldn't understand. Sorry.
So his question is, some of the host institutions are mentioning space and budget limitations, and he wants you to elaborate on that. As in,
But I mean, it is a, I mean, you should ask your host institution who are talking, why talk to me? I mean, I cannot talk about the host institution.
yeah, it's basically that means
Their
that
choice.
yeah, basically that means they are not
They're
interested
not
in
interested. Yeah.
hosting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
I mean, it's a polite way of saying no, I will say. If
Yes,
somebody says that
definitely.
with your CV, it's a polite way of saying no.
Yes. So can the host institute where the applicant? Okay, so there is a question from Resma. Can the host institute where the institute has done PhD or undergraduate or postgraduate study? As in, I think she wants to ask if host institution could be the one where a candidate has already done his PhD or undergraduate or
What
postgraduate
is her
study.
name? I think I have replied her email also. I got it same email 2 days back. I think she's the
I
same.
see.
I
Reshma,
think. But
Reshma
my answer is simple,
Dudraju.
yes.
Yeah, yes,
Perhaps,
you
perhaps,
can.
because I got the same.
I
So
see.
my answer was same, that yes, I think there's no restriction, but in general, globally, I have seen that doing a postdoctoral, studies or fellowship should be different from your PhD lab. Always helps you to become an independent researcher. Otherwise, you're always considered as your, like student of your supervisor.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Yeah, so related to this, when you mention advisory committee for the RLS fellow, so would you recommend the members of this advisory committee from different institute or the same institute?
No, I think suggestion. I'll tell you the reason for that. Earlier, there was
Yeah.
no committee at all. The person was solo allowed to work in the
Yes.
institution earlier. Now,
Yes.
if I give you, that was in some sense good for, if you ask, that was good for many people. But in
Yes.
several instances, the department was brought into the fight between the Ramalingaswami fellow and the director or vice chancellor. So the fellow was saying that, look, although I'm in, let's say, University of Calcutta or lab XCSI lab, the fellow says, I need not to talk to your director. I not to, because I am directly getting money from DBT. No one can, even ask what I'm doing. So that was another extreme case. So there was a kind of a conflict between them. And sometimes DBT, as you know, is a ministry. We are unable to understand what is going on. So the idea which has come, it is not a supervisor it is only a advisory team. So one person must be from host institution, and the reason is twofold, because that person is a professor or senior person who is employed there. So that person will give the wisdom and advice for this fellow. Okay, number one. And number two, the second person, very often, because that one person should not exploit him or her in terms that you become my junior. So there should not be any rent-seeking behavior that all your publication must be having your name. So to avoid that, we've also put the option of the fellow, and this was like our DBT's insistence, to allow you to take another mentor from your previous lab. Suppose you are going from, let's say, from Germany to India, you can have, because or you can have somebody else in the world whom you believe is working in your area and who should be acceptable to help you, mentor you. So that gives you a little bit leverage.
Yes. So basically, one member must
From
be
the host.
from outside of the
Host.
institute, and one from the host institute. So this
Yes, yes,
person
yes.
who is from the host institute could also be different, right? Different from the one who is providing the lab space, or right?
Ideally, I think again it's a I can't give one answer, because when you say different means suppose you are working in bio lab and the person is from pure physics, then the
No,
person
I
may
think
not
relevant
be.
field only. Yeah, I
Yeah, you
understand.
get
But
it.
relevant field only,
So
but
that within
different
the
from
yeah,
the. Yeah.
fine.
Okay.
That's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine. I think this is the kind of personal negotiation which the person has to make. Whether
Yes.
you are happy with that person. I mean, my personal experience will be that try to bring this person who could be more like an empire, more like a wiser person, senior person,
Yes. Yes.
rather than a young researcher who is your competitor or who is just 5 years senior to you. So just to have
Yes.
that kind of gap, like it's better to have somebody who's
Mentorship.
pretty senior,
Yes.
dean, director, or like even to the vice chancellor, head of department, who takes care of all your administrative. Just you go ki mujhe ye purchase karna hai. I'm getting, sometimes you get frustrated also in Indian scientific
Yes.
bureaucracy. So that
Yes.
person should take care of your, paperwork in
Yes.
quick phone calls, things get done.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's
this is
correct.
my personal advice.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it affects the research as well, right? Yeah. So we have a question from Kamal Tyagi, and her question is whether one can mention collaboration in the proposal. So how, if I also have to put this question in different way, how does including collaborators or international collaborators affect the outcome of the proposal to a degree?
Again, I think in the past also we have seen,
Mhm.
I think the proposal must be having a potential to do good science, good outcome in
Yes.
3 years' time, and in
Yes.
the constraints of your host institutions, and
Mhm.
also the money which is given. I mean,
Yes.
these are I will say, the constraints which you will operate. 3 years' time, 3 to 4 years, money is given like 20 lakhs per annum, and your host institution could be, ISC Bangalore versus a new state university. So under these
Mm.
constraints, your project has to operate. Number two, now this is a very good question in terms of the collaboration, but you may be
Yes.
working in a slightly lesser, newer institute, but you have a collaboration with a well-established institution. Fine, perfectly all right. But
Yes.
from administrative point of view, the money will not flow to them. Money,
Okay.
resources will be
Yes.
given to you. Intellectual
Yes.
collaboration, your guidance.
Yes.
You are doing it like computational modeling is done at A, and the physical or biological work is done at B. Both collaborate, fantastic. Even
Yes.
even uh, uh, even for international collaboration, I have seen the
Mhm.
Ramalingaswami also have one condition somewhere, I can't recall, where that you can take 3 months of leave, lien kind of thing, or there's
Okay.
some time you can come back to the your Sweden lab or your German lab, wherever you have worked or you wish to collaborate. We will not pay you the extra airfare, but leave is given for collaborations,
I
and
see.
that can be given up to 6 months also in some cases. I think case by case.
Yes.
So we will encourage, if that is well
Yes.
justified, to make a good
Okay.
proposal. Fine.
I see. So there are two things basically. You have to justify the collaboration or need of the collaboration, and there will be no financial
Yeah,
support for the collaborator.
correct.
So
Correct.
yes,
Nothing.
yeah.
Everything
So
you have
we
to do
have.
yourself.
Yes. So there is there is a question from Umakant Sharma. Does DBT prefer any kind of host institute over others, such as government versus private? I think we briefly discussed this. I mean, DBT doesn't say anything in this premise, but I think I know this, or I when I talk to someone from IIT, they mentioned that they basically don't prefer to host
Like,
Ramalingaswami fellows. Is it correct?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it is informal. They will never say in writing.
Yeah, it was
But
informal. Yes.
yeah, I know. But what you are saying, I have also heard the same thing. But
Mm.
I would like to give the reason for that, because once I talked to the one of the director of the IIT, and then he explained me that earlier they were taking,
Yes.
like maybe 10 years back or
Yes.
whatever. But now The reason is not that they don't like Ramalingaswamy. The reason is the other way. But every IIT has got a flexible system to hire anybody as assistant professor on contract for 1 year without any interview, without any notification. So their argument is that if the person is good enough to my standards, why should I ask the person to wait for Ramalingaswamy and then come? I will straight away offer him or her an ad hoc or contractual position, which gives you pretty much, which is much more beneficial for them, which is a kind of a tenure track of US kind of thing.
I see.
Then you apply, and then you become regular, in the IIT system. So they will prefer that route.
Okay, so I can now hand the platform over to Vaishali, who will now moderate the further question session. Vaishali?
Yeah, thank you, Vipul, and thank you, Dr. Mishra, for very useful and valuable insights. I'm pretty sure like a lot of our participants would have like benefited from them, and there are like a lot of questions still coming in. Like going forward, I would also request the participants if they would like to put on their videos, and in case someone wants to directly ask a question, but it will be really good if they can raise their hands and then we can just pick the person and they can directly ask the question as well. What would be of interest with respect to this question is that it should not be generalized only to your application, but it would be good if the question caters to all the participants on the whole. So that will be more valuable for our panel members as well, and or for all the participants. In this direction, I think I can start with Anil Pal if he would like to ask his question.
So Vaishali,
Yes, sir. Yes.
I think before Anil Pal asks, I would like to just give 2-3 more points which are generic in nature.
Okay.
Maybe some questions are already answered. So because I can. So I would like to just point out one is nobody has asked about the earlier model. Ramalingaswamy has 5+2. Now this has become 3+2 years. Okay.
Yes.
And the reason, it should be very clear to everyone. 5+2 was considered that you can do a kind of 5 years of a tenure track position, kind of like US model. But unfortunately, the Indian ecosystem doesn't have a tenure track kind of system, especially in the universities and lab wise. So in DBT, there are 50 schemes, let's say. Other than 3-4 schemes, all other are exclusively for regular, permanently employed scientists. Okay. So, my message is that sooner you become a regular position, whether it is a state university or CSIR lab or DBT lab or whatever, you are in the main track. You are eligible for hundreds of other, fundings rather than this one. So that model we tried and did not work to the level we wanted. Number one. Number two, we have seen the data that the people who were coming in Ramalinga, like I myself, I got Ramalingaswami Fellowship in 2010. But by the time I landed in 3-4 months time, I got a regular position in DST as a scientist G. Okay. So the first 3 years, I think 60 to 70% people will leave Ramalingaswamy first 3 years and get a regular job. And those who are not getting till 5 years, they were not getting even after 7 years. Okay. So as a fund manager, my money for 3 years is more productive, and I can use the same money to support more fellows than to keep them paying for 7 years or 6 years. So that explains number one. So the message from the fellowship is that this is a bridge to come back to India. It's a fabulous thing. Maximum 3 years. Plan for exit as soon as you get. Number one. The second point I was just trying to tell is the selection of host tuition. Yes, I think people sometimes ask question that whether I am eligible for medical facilities as a Ramalingaswamy, whether I get the transport allowance or housing. So my answer to all those questions that I do not know. My simple reason is it depends on your host institution. We write a letter to host institution that please provide the candidate all facilities what you provide to your regular scientists or professors, such as medical, transportation, housing, if available. So we don't indulge in that. Maybe some IIT will provide them housing or maybe guest housing, medical also, transport also, maybe some lab, and may not be. We don't need to come into picture. Our job is what Manoj has mentioned, a fellowship, HRA, and those things, that's all. Right? So that is the second kind of a query which I was pointing out. So, and another one question which people may have got, although right now we are not putting these fellows into private industry in India, okay, but anybody who is working, let's say Siemens in Germany, or maybe for example, General Motors R&D in Michigan, okay, or maybe Microsoft, R&D. I'm just giving example. These are private sector R&D. So that is fine. No need to come always from academia only. As long as you are working in R&D, whether it is private or government or university, you have done research activity in biotechnology or right areas, you should apply. We will be happy to consider. So I think these are the 3-4 general points. Last point is that as a program officer, I think every time we select about 75 to pure nahi aate hain. We normally select maybe 65, 70, whatever. First, there is a leakage in the beginning that maybe 4 or 5 will change their mind. They will say, sorry, I'm not coming. Number 1. Okay, 4 or 5, maybe 2 or 3 will not join. Number 1. So number 2, people who join, sometimes they will come to me. I remember 1-2 cases. They seek for extension. What happened once they get the Ramalingaswami Fellowship, then they give, okay, we give 1 year time for you to join. As the time comes to come back to India, then they are not sure whether I should go, my wife, my kids, and they change their mind. Then they come for extension of 6 months, 3 months, 4 months, and finally no. So my only request that first you make up your mind whether you really want to come, then only put all efforts. If you are in dilemma, then my suggestion will be don't apply. Please do not follow that method. Let me apply, selection ho jayega, fir dekhenge. Selection ho gaya, then you think, okay, last date aayegi, then we will decide. So that gives a very bad picture about your own professional journey and to the department also. Like we block the money, 1 crore rupees for you is blocked for one Ramalingaswami. So this is my personal advice that please think, apply once you are decided. Yes, it is not as rosy or as like a smooth transition back. The reason I myself have moved back when I was 40 something, okay, moving back to India has own charms, plus and minuses. You make up your mind with your family, decide, and sometimes you have to do a lot of the back and forth, your family, your kids, your education. So think everything, then take. Thank you. This is my initial comment. That's
Yes, thank you, Dr. Mishra. I
Yes,
think
now we
it's very valuable because we don't think about a lot of prospects, but like if these fellowships are in place, like government is also thinking about it, and it should go to the right participants.
Correct.
Because
Correct.
probably if you're not going to join, then that fellowship could have actually gone to some other deserving candidate. And so like if things are there in place, like it is better we use them and think in the best format possible. But that if we want to move to India, then channelize everything in the right direction and then take the next steps. But I think, I would
Dr.
also,
Vaisali,
yes, please.
we have limited time, and Kritika Gupta and Aparajita Jha have some questions, very important question. Gupta is asking, the recommendation need to be uploaded by the candidate. Many professor may not find it compatible. So we have both options. Candidate can get the recommendation from the mentors or the experts, and they can upload with the applications, or if maintain the confidentiality by the expert or the mentor or the any referee, they can just send by email to us. Okay, we will put in the application along with. Okay. And second question is the great, very important question. Aparajita Jha is asking, is paid maternity leave allowed for women candidate? Yes. We have DOPT order,
Yes.
Government of India. We followed the rules, and we are facilitating to the women candidate also in a such way, not only for this program, but overall for a whole country.
Yeah, great. I think that is a great initiative. And even like allowance of 2 years to the women candidates once they
Yes.
return back to India. It is like a phenomenal progress in this direction which government has done. And probably it is going to help a lot of women candidates who, because there are different constraints when it comes to the different gender participants. But I think these initiatives and the policies which are coming up, they are really shaping up the Ramalinga Fellowship in a very good manner. And also
Great. Thank
considering the participants' perspective and to maximize the best brains to get them back in the country as well.
I'm again interrupting you. Sorry. One question is very important question from Anil Pal. I am Anil from LMU Munich, Germany. Can I choose physics department because I work on interdisciplinary work that involve physics and biotechnology means that he is working on some biophysics aspect. Sir, we are allowing it.
I think I'm sitting here. My background is mechanical engineering, pure mechanical with zero biology. My own background. I was selected in Ramalingaswami Kai because I'm a biomedical person. I worked on the bone biomechanics. So I think here is an example sitting in front of you.
Okay.
We are encouraging Paul. You may
Yes,
please
thank you,
apply,
thank you, sir.
and
Thank you very much.
Best of luck. We are happy to serve you. Okay.
So that means I can choose physics department.
Yes, physics is the part
Okay.
of science, and biotechnology is the umbrella of science, including physics,
Because-
chemistry, biotechnology, life science, environment, all discipline. Okay.
Yes.
Even
Because
computer science, yeah.
yes, because my work involves diagnosis of leukemia, and to design the sensor, I need physics department.
Good work.
Oh.
Good work.
So
Good.
that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
I told you.
Thank you very much.
I think we can try to cover as many as possible quickly. So we will restrict our answer to quick answers, quick questions,
Okay.
quick answers, because Manoj and myself, we have given lots of the generic things. So
Yes.
please.
Yeah,
Thank you very
Kamal,
much.
if you would like to go next.
Next one.
Yeah.
Who is the-
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like my question is like, can we continue our like PhD work? Like in my PhD, the paper was recently published, and I found very like interesting results. So I want to like continue that work, and can we write like proposal on that?
PhD or postdoc?
The PhD, like not postdoc, my PhD.
You have completed PhD right now?
No, I completed my PhD 2017, but like
Okay.
recently I have published some paper on my PhD work. The result was very interesting. Like, can I continue? Like, can I write the proposal on that PhD work?
But it should be at the level of postdoctoral for Ramalingaswami
Correct.
Fellow.
Correct.
Because the level of research at PhD level just as a training, and at the level of postdoc or advanced fellowship program, career oriented fellowship program, it should be at the standard of the high. Okay.
No,
So you
I
can
think
keep the standard high.
I think he meant that he want to work on. I mean, he has his proposal based on PhD project.
Ji.
So it's not the PhD level project, but it's just that from PhD finding, he has some ideas that he want to elaborate on further.
Like, I want to extend
So
that
I think
work.
what Manoj, yeah, I think because we can't be specific on, because we are not expert in areas, but yes, there is no restriction on the project.
Restriction on it,
As
yeah.
long as the quality of the project and doability and it's a good science, anything is okay.
Okay,
Because the
thank-
committee will let. It is your
Thank
choice
you.
whether you are able. It is your choice, the candidate, whether you think that your postdoctoral work continuation versus your PhD work continuation, which is much more, important and much more convincing. It's your choice.
Joydeep, if you would like to go next.
Yeah, I have a quick question. So, so the host lab that wish to support the fellowship, so need to be in the same field with me, or they could be a different. Like, say for I like to choose a mentor who have working with the neuroscience, and I'm working with the GI system. So, is that okay to them to host institute? Because I was talking with a professor, he wished to support my application, but he says, "Oh, my area is completely different than yours, so might be DBT not facilitating your application."
That's correct, I think.
Sir, I think we have sufficient
Discuss this.
information we have provided and discussed
We
with
have
the
already
panel.
given, so you can take your
Carefully
call.
choose the host institution so
that's
that you
fine.
can get the maximum support, and not only the expertise but also the understanding of your science. Okay.
Yes. So
Correct.
everything has to be, it's mentioned in the eligibility criteria itself that you should choose your institute wisely and lab also. So, but how many attempts can candidate have at RLS, or can they apply subsequently, as in next year also?
Manoj, I think there's no rule on that. No? That means
Nah,
they can apply.
No rule. They can apply
No rule on
2-3
that.
times.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Umakant can go next.
Yeah, I was just asking the similar question like he said about the extension of PhD work. I just have a question. whether this project proposal should be a different from the postdoc work, or it could be an extension of the project postdoc studies.
Yeah, I think that has
I
already been
think
discussed.
I think he said it doesn't matter much, but in other grants, if you apply for extramural grants, then I think they discourage the extension of postdoc work.
Yeah, it is
So
case specific, and since we have like discussed it in this forum and to be give equal participation to all participants, we can go to the next question from Arindam.
Yeah.
So-
I think Vaishali, just to reiterate what we have said, I think the answer lies that you consider as a part of your jury in Ramalingaswami, and there is a project proposal. Okay, proposal is reviewed not in many terms. So one of the factor is that what is your track record to do that job. For example, if you have worked in area A and now your proposal in area B, 0 chances. Okay, so that means so answer lies on that you need to be convinced the expert committee that look, I have done these skill sets, these are my previous track record, and I am capable of doing this project. So that answers your question.
We also
Whether
have
you choose PhD work or you do postdoctoral work, the committee should be convinced with your track record and your selection of host tuition and your previous. Normally, we take the publication records that okay, you have already done these things, so we believe that you will able to do this. I think that
Again, one important question from Kritika about the submission of this recommendation within 15 February or not. So try to adhere the guideline, and we cannot extend the guideline beyond 15. Try to sum up your application, submit your application before 15th, including the recommendations from your mentor experts or your known experts in the country or outside the country.
Yeah. Arindam, if you would like to ask the question next.
Yeah, my question. Thank you, Dr. Mishra and Dr. Rohilla, firstly for elaborating widely on the Ramalingaswami scheme. So my question is that does the field changing? I mean, does the changing field in your in somebody's postdoctoral research really do matters? Let's say I did my first postdoc in bacterial RNA biology when I was in ISC Bangalore. But in the US, my current postdoc will be on RNA biology, but it will be related to cardiovascular disease. So there are two, widely unrelated fields, but the theme is same, that would be RNA biology. So when I write a proposal and I apply for the scheme, do you think that can be accountable?
Good, because expert is in RNA. Okay.
Yeah.
Difference is only in the tissue or the organ type, but he or she aware about the RNA biology inside the system. Okay, I think you can choose such host institutions for the proposed work, but it totally depends on you, not only me, my guidance or suggestions. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, correct.
We also have like multiple questions in the chat, I think, where people are asking, in addition to the online format, do we also need to send the hard copy of the Ramalinga Fellowship documentation?
Yes, it is very important. Keep your hard copy ready. We will request after selection to submit the hard copy to verify the facts in the applications. But don't need for the
not right now.
The other candidate. Right now, no need right now to submit the hard copy.
Okay, and then we have a question that how many recommendation letters are needed? Would the number be 2 or 3, or is there any cutoff in this direction?
It should be mentioned there. I think.
So it's already mentioned there.
Two recommendations
mentioned
we have
one.
mentioned, I think.
No,
Please do not ask the questions which are already clear.
Yeah.
no. Can I talk? Because on the website it says 3 recommendation letter, but on the PPT you showed it says 2 recommendation letter. So that was the confusion.
I think PPT is as 0 value. Whatever the application form is the legal one.
Published.
PPT is
legal
like prepared by us. Maybe that's good. Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
The information in public domain is very important.
Yes. Yeah, I think we have like most of the questions answered. Umakant has another question. Maybe he can.
I have a very quick question from Manoj sir. Manoj sir also mentioned that it's a scheme for bringing people from abroad back to India. But how about Manoj sir, if somebody joined as a faculty here already, and can they apply within 1 year? I think, or does DBT entertain that or not? if we already become a faculty in government or private institute?
We are welcoming all the fellows. Hello.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it depends on you. If you want to switch from US to India, no issue. But you have to fulfill the minimum eligibility criteria as we are mentioned in the advertisement, the first requirement.
No, what I'm saying, if somebody already joined as a faculty here in India.
In India, exactly. I think the
Yes.
question, Manoj, I will answer. Umakant, are you saying that a person has already joined a faculty in India? Is that what you are
Correct.
saying?
Right.
Then my answer will be, if you are a regular faculty in India, you are not eligible for that.
Eligible.
Because ultimately, we would like all these fellows to get a regular position in India. And if somebody is already having a regular position, why would we take consideration?
So regular you consider in a government institute only, or even a regular in private institute?
I think regular, private, both.
Yes.
No difference, no difference. Such faculty can apply for grant under regular program, R&D program, special calls, and they can get the support for running their R&D programs in institutions.
There are 20 more programs here.
No, great. Thank you. That's
We
what.
also have Nitin who would like to ask a question regarding RLS.
Okay. Hello, Dr. Mishra and Dr. Rohilla. I have at least 2-3 questions, quick questions. But first thing is, like, earlier RLS fellows, they used to take PhD students and then PhD students can work with them. But now it has reduced to 3 years. I don't think that's possible. So any guidelines about it, or how does that work?
Yes. You can act as a co-supervisor and supervisor from a regular faculty member. You can choose for providing the guidance to the JRF or the fellow you want to recruit in your program. Okay, but it depends on the host institution. They are allowing you as a co-supervisor or not. Okay, so you may first talk to the host institution's authority before deciding any such provision. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I will just
sorry, just
Nitin,
a couple
please
of
go ahead.
quick questions.
Sorry.
Just quick questions. So last year, the RLS fellowship, they introduced a new thing, which was interviews, which was not done in the past. So is it going to be continue for the next years, or it was just last year it was introduced?
Sorry, say again. What's happened?
So last year for the fellowship selection, the interviews were also conducted. So because it was something new, I don't think it happened.
No. From now onwards, we will always have interview. Now onwards. Last year we kiya, is saal bhi hoga, next year bhi hoga. So that is a compulsory part. And that
is very important.
A lot.
Because the interview forum and this presentation will provide the interaction with the candidate, live interaction, so that we can there are so many things we are not aware about the fellow and his or her research work, but this is the good forum. It is good for the candidate also and for a system, both sides.
Yeah, that is definitely useful.
There,
and then the last thing is, like, usually Ramalingaswami, it mentions that it is 75 applicants, but last year it was reduced drastically to 47. So was it because they were not good candidates, or they were like, this is going to be reduced for the next years also? What's the plan?
No, I think I will come, because I think Manoj was not there and I was there. So unfortunately, I think you can guess that the committee was of the view that Ramalingaswami is a prestigious fellowship, which expectations are much higher than a research associateship or a normal postdoctoral fellowship in India. Okay. And they found that not many candidates, even despite having a track record, despite having good track record, sometimes the project proposals were very lousy, or very, what we call, very not so rigorous. Like, methodology is not supporting the objectives. Objectives are so many. You don't have the like methodology to support how you are going to achieve them in 3 years' time. This thing. So despite having a good track record, the proposals, the methodology, the objectives and durability were not being to the mark of the expectation. And that is why the committee was very rigorous in that. So yes, standards have gone up.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. My humble submission to all the applicants that not too much objectives, not very enthusiastic kind of thing, just you are proposing to get the selection. And after that selection, you are unable to do, means the doability of the project or the investigation. Keep in mind when you are proposing the scientific investigation.
Yeah, it has to be realistic.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes.
Realistic and focused also.
Yes.
Because sometimes the applicant, even I will think to impress the committee that I will bring moon on the table. So I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
claim
yeah.
100 things. Then
Yeah.
committee says, ki, bhai, arey, this is, like the person is like, he's not serious. So
And I think funding should also be kept into consideration. That is,
Exactly,
so if you propose something that is beyond the budget,
Exactly.
budget of the RLS that it can support, it's not possible
Correct,
to.
correct.
I have one quick question, just two questions. One thing is like when you get this 13 lakh rupees, can you use it to pay for project assistant working with you, this money?
Yes, I think Manoj,
Yes.
you can confirm. It says
Yes, sir.
It also includes manpower.
flexible for manpower,
Yeah.
for equipment, for travel, consumable. I think it's a flexible.
It's a flexi
Flexible.
grant.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the last question is that if you want to change your Ramalingaswami Fellowship, like you want to change the host institute, do you need anything from the host institute, or only because sometimes the host institutes, can they deny to give you NOC and then you can't move to new institute?
Yes.
And NOC is very important because it is a legal document from both side, a host institute and the last institute. Okay, so that both are agreed, because sometimes you have to move the equipment also, required the NOC from the host institute earlier, previous one to new. Okay, so these are the legal compliance.
We have one quick question from Akash Banerjee. His PhD and postdoc are both from US, and he doesn't have Indian mentors. But in the fellowship, it is mentioned that the recommendation one recommendation should be from an Indian scientist. So would that be fine if both the recommendations are from outside India?
I think what about having a recommendation from the host institution? Like he must be applying to one institution in India, and that institution will have one person who will understand his work. What about that person?
Yeah, that is a great suggestion.
But like we all are quite flexible. If there is a reason because any scheme is designed with Manoj and myself, and whatever we do, we conceive situations primarily to certain kind of a group. But if there is an exceptional case, then exceptional question will have exceptional answer also. So we are open with the reasoning of that. Is that okay?
Yes, yeah, thank you so much. I think I will close the Q&A round here. I know definitely people have different questions, and it's like a sea of questions which everyone has different while they are applying. So I would also take an opportunity to thank Dr. Mishra and Dr. Rohilla for their valuable insights. I think it was a very great discussion, and definitely it would helped a lot of our participants as well. We would have definitely loved to continue this discussion, but probably considering the time constraints, it is always better to put everything together and close the session. We would like to thank the panelist and speaker once again for their time and highlighting the details about the Ramalinga Fellowship, which I believe definitely would be very insightful for a lot of brilliant minds who are planning to transition back to India. So thank you, Dr. Mishra, and thank you, Dr. Rohilla. We hope we will again have an opportunity to interact with you through the Sci-ROI platform in future.
Sure.
And on behalf of the team Sci-ROI, I would like to thank everyone who joined us, and thank you and have a very good day ahead. And I hope a lot of our participants transition back as a successful Ramalinga Fellows.
That's great.
Best
So
of luck
thank you.
for all applicants.
Thank you. I think on behalf of the Department of Biotechnology, we also enjoyed the conversation. And nevertheless, we have limited time, but feel free to email to Manoj or myself with your questions. We'll try to respond you back within a week or so, because sometimes we have got so many emails as well. So, but trust me, we will try to respond you back with your specific questions and answers. And good luck for your application. We look forward.
Very kind of you, Dr. Mishra and Dr. Rohilla. I think it is a very interactive team at DBT we have right now, and very responsive. I think it is all for our betterment. I think all the best to everyone.
That India is changing. Manoj and myself have decided to interact not only with the future fellows, but all our existing Ramalinga fellows in a monthly or maybe 6 monthly meeting online to all our fellows, all our student WhatsApp.
That's amazing.
So
that's really a great platform. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Namaskar.
And all the best to the candidates. Yeah.
Thank you.
Best of luck.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.